Newstalk KGVO 1290 and 101.5 FM. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Last Best Beer Show. I'm Shireen Herrera, and this is your host, Ryan Newhouse.
Thank you, Shireen. I'm super excited to be back with you another week. And you know what? It is Valentine's weekend. I don't know. Hopefully this isn't news to you guys. But there are plenty of amazing mood-boosting beer-themed events and places to go with your date this week. So let's dive in. I want to go through a few of them with you. Hey, we got the Barley Wine Fest that's starting at the Dram Shop. But we'll be chatting with one of the owners, Zach Millar, here shortly, a little bit later in the show, and we'll get all the details about that. But at DraftWorks on Sunday between 4 and 8 p.m. is their Valentine's Day foreplay. Now, I didn't make that name up. That's theirs.
I'm assuming there's 4 beers involved.
Oh, let's hope. Yes. Oh, you know what? You're right. You're right.
Oh,
absolutely.
Clever.
Yes. For $12.50, you get 4 pairings of Black Cat Bake Shop and DraftWorks beer. So tickets are per person and they're sold in advance, and the tastings will be at your leisure during those specified times on Sunday. So yes, 4 delicious desserts, 4 beers.
Hence foreplay.
Oh, you got it. And then at Imagination Brewing, you can take your date to a movie. They'll be showing Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
That's awesome.
Yes, indeed. Yes, not one of those rom-coms, I don't think, as they say.
No.
But at 3:30, get there. It's free along with popcorn, but they do ask that you purchase a beer or soda, whatever you're in the mood for. And while you're there, you can fill your growler and save $1.50 off that fill, which is their special price every Sunday. And then last but not least, you can also head down to the Rhino, one of my favorite watering holes, get a super special Valentine's Day beer. It's from Stone Brewing out of California. It's part of their Enjoy By series of IPAs. So this one is Enjoy By 2/14/2016.
And can I mention the Lolo Peak Brewing Valentine's Day?
Yes, you can.
Remember, they're doing their beer pairings and 4-course meal. They have seatings at 4 and 6:30 on Valentine's Day this Sunday, so you can just contact the brewery for more information.
Perfect. Love those guys. Really liked talking to their chef last week. Very knowledgeable. Good food, good beer. But yes, absolutely. Get down there to the Rhino. Try this Valentine's beer. It's part of a release series from Stone that they think fresher IPAs are better, or that's how you should drink them. So they actually name their beer the date by which you should drink it.
Oh,
and
perfect.
So this is the last day to supposedly get the 2/14/16 beer.
Or it's bad after that.
Yeah, right. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to turn down any beer based on its age. I'm
I would
pretty
be
open
careful
minded.
with that, brother. You'll get sick. Ask the Zoo City Zimmergis. They'll tell you.
That's true. That's true. Good. Well, exciting show here. We've got some great guests. Like I said, Zach Millar from the Dram Shop. And a little bit later in the show, we're going to talk to one of our presenters for the next Business and Brews, which is happening on Wednesday. So stay tuned for that as well. But let's jump in and catch up with Zach at the Dram Shop. This week, I'm happy to sit down with Zach Millar, who owns the beautiful Dram Shop there on Front Street. You'll find it between the Trailhead and the Pearl Cafe. Great places in and of themselves. But I tell you, each time that I come down here to the Dram Shop, it is always a fun experience. You get to see all the beers that are on display or on the wall there, to see what's on tap. Very knowledgeable staff. But I would like to welcome right now Zach Millar. Thank you for coming in.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me, Ryan.
My pleasure. So one of the things that I want to talk about first is because this is a Valentine-themed show, Valentine's is coming up, whether we want it to or not, is that you are launching on Sunday, on February 14th, Barley Wine Week. So why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about what that entails?
Sure. So we make an effort once a month at the shop to feature a particular style of beer over a week-long period. We've done different styles in the past, and we chose barley wine for the month of February. It tends to be a higher alcohol content beer, big flavors, and it's kind of nice this time of year when it's cold out still, and we are all just doing our best to survive winter. So basically we will keep 6 different barley wines on tap for the week. And they will all represent sort of a different take on the style. The idea being that people can come down and they can sort of taste a bunch of different takes on the same style, get a real idea for what different brewers are doing with the same style, and try to figure out what they like, what they don't like, some things that are crazy, some things that aren't so crazy. And it tends to be fun. do flights of all 6 or flights of 3. We always offer half glasses of all of the beers that we serve. So if you want to come down and have a small glass of something, and you're always welcome to do that.
I like that opportunity too, and I like your pseudo disclaimer that it's cold outside and you need barley wine, not that it's going to be Valentine's Day and you need higher alcohol. I'll just leave it. So that's just me. That's my own interpretation. But absolutely, like, not only do you have really a great selection of barley wines, but I'm looking over this list, and without getting into all the brand names of them, but I'm seeing a blackberry barley wine. I'm seeing some very famous barley wines that are West Coast. I absolutely see a Montana one as well, but you've really done a good job of spreading it out, and you're taking a higher alcohol beer, like you said, like the smallest one is about 9% alcohol by volume, jumping up to just over 11%. But you get to explore what this beer is like, and it's not your normal everyday drinking all day beer at all.
Certainly not. No, it's a nice one to sip. It's a style of beer that would normally be served in a snifter, which you would allow to warm in your hand. So it would be a beer that you would probably want to enjoy closer to 45 to 50 degrees, as opposed to maybe like 38 on an IPA or a pale ale that you love. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we did our best job to bring in a bunch of different barley wines. We have an oak-aged barley wine from Grand Teton Brewing that was brewed in 2012 as part of their Coming Home series. It's their series that they do around the holidays. And then they took part of that batch and they aged it in oak for 2 years. And then it's been aged in the keg since then. So that is going to be a really nice vintage of barley wine. I'm really looking forward to that one.
I'm excited for that. I love to do beer tastings with friends and put together verticals, which is the same beer being brewed year after year, and then you let them age, you cellar them, and you see how those change as well. But I'm a big fan of aged beers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and barley wine is a particularly nice beer to age because of the high alcohol content and because of the malty sweetness. It really does well with age. You know, not all styles do. Barley wine is one that tends to perform well with age.
Excellent. And so, yeah, when you guys open on Sunday, this will be available. They get beautiful beers here, and you can get it all week until the following Saturday, which is, I think, February 20th. And you can come in and you can enjoy this at your leisure. You can get 3 taster, flight of 3 or a flight of 6, and enjoy them. And maybe your partner gets 3 and your other partner gets, or you get 3. Put it all together. You can work together.
You can come up with your own math on that.
That's right. Not going to force it on there.
Right.
So aside from these tastings, you guys have been in business now. You're coming up on your year sometime soon.
Yeah, we're just over 10 months now. So the end of March will be our year anniversary. And we have evil plans for some kind of celebration, but we don't know what they are yet.
Oh, good. Well, we can help you with that. And you make sure you come to the Last Best Beer Show when you announce those evil plans.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, this isn't a loaded question, but how's business been?
Well, we've had a really great response from Missoula. People, I think, are really interested. We know it's a great craft beer town. There's no question there, but I think that people are really interested in our model. They do like to be able to come down and be able to choose from a wide variety of craft beers. And, of course, we have ciders and wines on tap as well. Nitro cold pressed toddy from Black Coffee Roasting Company. And we have some craft sodas. So it's great for people to come down and have a wide variety. No matter who's with you, you're going to find something that you like. Mm-hmm. And people keep coming. You know, we're surprised daily that we're like, maybe tomorrow's the day that nobody will show up. But
that's right. Hopefully that day doesn't come. But
exactly, yeah.
What I like too is how open it feels. I mean, all your front windows, your lighting, all of that. And I've been to a variety of different places that serve craft beer, and they really run the gamut. But if you are taking your business model, which is to give people choice, and make beer approachable, and you have knowledgeable staff that can talk about their beers, like the ambiance itself is inviting and open and not cliche. And I think that speaks to exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, and that was sort of one of the ideas that I had when I wanted to start the shop. It's not difficult to find a place where you can get funky beers that's dark and dingy and maybe not someplace where you would take your mother-in-law. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the issues that craft beers had over the years, is that it maybe has not always had the most polished image. And so I wanted to have a place where anybody would feel comfortable, especially people who aren't super familiar with the craft beer world.
Mm-hmm. Well, I absolutely believe you've done that. And, yep, I'd not only take a mother-in-law, but I'd take my sister, and I'd take my best friend, and I'd just take myself, too.
The real question is, would you take your date on Valentine's Day?
Yes, of course. Of course I would. Yeah, it would be... It'd be maybe, and then go to the Pearl Cafe for a fancy dinner.
Well, and the other thing to keep in mind, we do have wine on tap. So, maybe your husband doesn't like beer.
That's true, right?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe they aren't. Maybe they're not as hip and cool.
That's right. That's right.
You need them.
We have other options. So.
I ask you about the business because next week on February 17th, Wednesday, you're part of our panel for our next Business and Brews, which is sponsored by the University of Montana School of Extended and Lifelong Learning. And you're given part of a presentation that will talk about how you opened the Dram Shop and some of the resources in Missoula that you utilized. And you're part of a panel that includes Jeff Grant from DraftWorks and Steve Ludicky from Summer Sun Garden and Brew. And I got to sit down with you guys and we sort of fleshed this out. But I don't know. I mean, what would you say as a business owner that would encourage people to maybe come out and check out this Business and Brews presentation you're part of?
Well, I think it'll be especially helpful for somebody who, A, has interest in the business of craft beer, which there doesn't seem to be a scarcity of folks who have that interest these days, which is absolutely awesome. The other thing I think about the craft beer industry is that it is one that is applicable to a lot of other businesses. So you can take the model of a brewery or take pieces of it. You can take the model of a bar or take pieces of it. All of the steps along the way, distribution systems, and they can be applied to all kinds of businesses all the way across the board. So my personal feeling is the insights that you can get from talking to people who are in the brewing industry can be really helpful regardless of what kind of business you're interested in.
That's perfect. I've not even thought about it that way, and I was so fixated on the beer as that common thread. But maybe that's just me, and I like to talk about beer. But it is, and within that we have people that are speaking that have 3 entirely different business models around beer, and then we've got 2 that are Missoula resources for businesses at all levels, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And I definitely encourage people to come out and just maybe come down to the Dram Shop and try beer, try wine, try cider, try craft soda, cold brew. I mean, you've got it all.
Absolutely, and one of the things we really love to do is chat with people when they come in and figure out what they like. I mean, maybe you already know what you like. There are plenty of folks like that. I usually have a decent idea, but sometimes it's fun to talk to somebody who knows a lot about what's on tap and just sort of explore what's going on and taste some new things. And maybe you'll be like, I didn't even know I liked porters. And you're walking out of there in love with a chocolate porter,
I love those experiences. And so let's go over your hours and your location again.
Yeah, we're at 229 East Front Street in downtown Missoula. We are right down the street from Higgins in front between the Pearl Cafe and the Trailhead. We're open at noon every day. We serve till 9 Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then we serve till 10 on Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Perfect. And you have a Facebook page?
We do Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're pretty easy to find. So yeah, go on out there and find us in the digital realm as well.
Excellent. Will do. And then come meet Sarah Millar, Zach Millar, and others at Business and Brews. Zach, thank you so much for taking time, sitting down, having a beer with me, and talking about beer.
Absolutely. Much appreciated.
All right. Thank you. That's it from Zach Millar here at the Dram Shop, and we're on location. And absolutely love coming down here, and you should too.
Love craft beer and want to learn how to brew your own? Take this online course to get insider tips from Montana brewers and top secret recipes for local favorites.
Welcome back to the Last Best Beer Show. Hope you've enjoyed hearing a word from our sponsors who really make this show possible. So now this week we have a Valentine's Day theme, guys and gals. Valentine's Day is Sunday, February 14th. So, let's take a moment and talk about something a little bit more intimate, like taking a very special, very warm, very memorable bath. Now, let's not get off track here too far. I'm talking about one place in the world where you can take a bath in beer. Yes, at a place called Beer Wellness Land. It's at Chodovar, which is a very large Czech Republic brewery. You can tour the brewery and end it with a 20-minute hot beer bath. The bath is big enough for 2 adults, but it's a mix of beer, mineral water, barley, and hops. Now, they say for it to take full effect that bathers are not supposed to shower off for 24 hours after their dip. Now, the bath itself only costs about $50 US for 2 adults. But of course, you've got the expense of getting to the Czech Republic first. So I thought you'd put it out there. If you get any crazy ideas at your own home, go for it. But there is a place out there that you can bathe in beer. All right. So like I said, there seems to be a new brewery opening up every week in Montana. And honestly, last week on the show, we did announce another brewery. This week, we get to do it again. So in opening this week was the Bunkhouse Brewery, and they've opened in Bozeman, Montana at 1216 West Lincoln Street. And it looks like they're going to be opening their doors with 3 beers at least, including an oatmeal stout, a red ale, and an IPA. So welcome to the world of Montana craft beer, Bunkhouse Brewery, and we look forward to connecting with you very soon. So now for something a little bit closer to home, next Friday, February 19th, the Winter Brew Fest, 6th annual Winter Brew Fest, brought to you by the Missoula Downtown Association. It'll be Friday at Karis Park from 5 p.m. until, I think they run until 9. And this year, it's a little different. They're featuring Montana-only beers. So here's their little write-up. Shake off the winter blues and enjoy some brews. And this annual event is growing by popularity. And they're featuring 40 Montana-only taps. And stay warm by their fire barrels as you listen to live music, taste the beers, and enjoy food from their vendors. It is brought to you by the Kettle House and Downtown Association and other sponsors. Music by Ted Ness and the Rusty Nails and Off in the Woods. And there'll be food from Covered Wagon Hot Dogs, El Cazador, McKenzie River, Front Street. Lots of details. So we'll have a link on our Facebook page, and certainly you will find the Last Best Beer Show down there. So join me Friday, February 19th. This week, we usually spend a few minutes talking about beer and food, but I'm changing things up a little bit because we've got a special event going on, and it is the February Business and Brews, brought to you by the Last Best Beer Show, and this month by our sponsor and partner, the University of Montana School of Extended and Lifelong Learning. In the studio with me, I have a friend, Jen Ewan, who's with the Missoula Economic Partnership. She is the Director of Entrepreneurship and Special Projects. Jen, welcome to the Last Best Beer Show.
Thank you, Ryan.
Jen, so you're helping us with this event, which is Wednesday, February 17th. It's at 5:30 p.m. at the Iron Grizz, which is the restaurant at the University Golf Course. And you're one of the panelists, but also the moderator for a great lineup of speakers. So I don't know. Let's start with the business and brews. Like, who else do we have on the panel that evening?
Sure. So we have Paul Gladen with Blackstone Launchpad, who works with students and alumni on startups, people who have ideas and want to start their own business.
He's a fascinating fellow.
Yes, very.
Yes.
Yes, from England.
Yep.
And then we've got Zach and Sarah Millar, who've opened up the Dram Shop. Jeff Grant from DraftWorks, and also Steve Ludicky. Yes. Thank
absolutely.
you for that spelling or pronunciation of the last name. And he's with Summer Brew.
Yes, Summer Garden and Brew.
Yes.
The home brew, Missoula's only home brew shop. I know Steve from way back when, because I used to be at the Good Food Store when he was there, and we actually worked together. But really an all-star lineup, and because you and I have met with these people, we were kind of going through some details, but it really hit me seeing that these people have put together business of beer, and they're all kind of different. They're a little bit different, but that common theme is beer, of course. But then there's resources out there with what you do,
yes,
and what Paul does. It was really eye-opening.
Yes. So Missoula Economic Partnership typically works with startups, people who want to expand, and then people who want to retain employees in the Missoula County, Missoula area. And so it's been fascinating to watch the beer industry grow and expand here. And like you said, those particular businesses, depending on how they were raised and what their interests were in college, developed their business around the beer industry, but they look completely different. And they all come from a very personal space. So that was really fun to learn more about them and have them share their stories. I mean, I drink at the Dram Shop at, all both locations.
Yes.
And so, but I didn't really know their story. So that was really fun. Everyone's story is fascinating to me. And that's what I love about this job.
It was evident from all of the stories, from hearing from Steve and Zach and Sarah and Jeff, like beer was the passion. Beer's what got it started. And yes, there is the economic side to actually having a profitable business, but it was that passion that really got it started. And I'm sure you see that not only with beer, but other people that are wanting to do business as well.
Absolutely.
It's important, right?
Well, right. The ones who tend to succeed aren't the ones who think they're developing the next best thing because it's a trend. They typically, if it comes from the heart, it seems like they have a better shot of making it. And as we heard with that group, all of them it came from the heart. And it's something they developed over years and years of planning and education to get to where they are now. Yeah,
it was that was eye-opening too. I've done some businesses. I've had a couple small businesses before here, but that element that it will take longer than you think it will could be one of the hardest things to overcome. But it can be enjoyable too. You're spending more time with your idea and getting it off the ground in the right way.
Right.
It's what you don't have to name all these specific businesses, but I imagine you deal with Missoula entrepreneurs on all different levels of, like you said, startup to growing to just keeping their doors open. But I don't know what's the most satisfying part of being able to engage with these.
Oh, every day is a different day with my job. It's super fun. Like today, for example, I met with Nookie Box.
Oh, yes.
And so that was fascinating to learn her business model. But we
need some of those, by the way, to give away.
I'm glad you made that request and not me. Thanks, Shereen.
Just for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's days like that, just learning. It's inspiring to hear people taking that risk because it's not for everyone. And I think, I meet with anyone from they're standing in the shower and they have an idea and where do I go with that idea all the way to I've got 3 years in, I'm actually starting to pay myself and I need investment capital or I want to expand or I want, to sell, I want to exit. And so it runs the gamut. So for me, it's just what's thrown at me on any given day.
Beautiful. It really is an incredible resource. I am very excited for this event, for the Business and Brews. People get a chance to meet you, meet Paul, meet the other speakers, but hear their stories. That's going to be the most touching, I think, to talk about what it was to open a business and that we're all here. We like beer for our particular audience. I do. But it's a story that's integrated with the Missoula history as well, and a lot of great resources. What do you do for the rest of? Just every day. It's brand new. But are there any changes, or do you go out and look for people that you could help, or are you really just looking for people to walk in the door?
Oh gosh, it runs the gamut. So as much as I meet with businesses on all different levels, I also work on kind of tying in private sector with education. So I've been working on a master's in data science program at and we work a lot with the Missoula College and even some with the Bitterroot College for workforce. You know, a lot of the businesses that I work with say I can't find anyone either in high tech manufacturing or in the software, computer IT space. And so I'm trying to connect the private sector with education and make both of them relevant. So watching curriculum change to fit workforce demand has been really fun. That's a huge project that I've been involved in.
Okay.
I also serve on the Air Service Task Force, so working on a guaranteed revenue model to bring cheaper service into or gaining kind of direct hub routes. So that's a big part of what I do.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's been really fun. And we're gearing up to create that revenue model here in the next few months. And so we should start being able to do that and seeking out other airlines, hopefully directs to New York and, Boise and things like that. So
very awesome. I'm going to end with one small curveball of a question. It's just one that I get asked a lot, so I'd actually like your insight on it. One of the most common questions I get asked is, how many more breweries could Missoula hold? So you're in this business sector and thinking about it. You may not have an answer, and that's totally fine because I usually refuse to answer that question myself. But I don't know. What are your thoughts around that question?
Ooh, that is a good one. When you look at Oregon and Montana, Oregon, they're stating that has not reached its saturation point. And we are not yet where Oregon is. So I can't say. I think a lot of it depends on location and really doing your market research beforehand and understanding your foot traffic and your, those sorts of things. But yeah, I don't want to touch in terms of, are we saturated yet?
Yep.
I don't know.
That's a totally fine answer. And that's where I go is, if you're making a unique product that's really contributing, then of course you'll find your audience and they will support you. We Montanans, we Missoulians, we love local products and we do support them with our dollars. But absolutely. Well, thanks for being fair game for that question. And again, thank you for your participation in the panel that's coming up on Wednesday, the 17th.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I am. So come on out, see Jen Ewan, see all these other great speakers that we have. Save the date, 5:30. We'll probably have some appetizers. And yes, there will be beer available for purchase. The event itself is free, however. And check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Last Best Beer Show for more event details. Thanks, Jen.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that's going to do it for us this week on the Last Best Beer Show. I want to thank our guests, Zach Millar and Jen Ewan, and I want you to save the date, as we've talked about. Definitely join us for the next Business and Brews, our monthly networking social, February 17th, 5:30, Iron Grizz. Look for us on Facebook. Really enjoy bringing this show to you every week, and we've got a lot of fun things lined up. We're going to be contacting the Montana Brewers Association to talk about a new campaign that they're running next week, so please stay tuned, and until next week, then, Missoula, I say cheers.
Love craft beer and want to learn how to brew your own? Take this online course to get insider tips from Montana brewers and top secret recipes for local favorites.